And welcome back. In light of the incident of the deadly domestic violence in Heber City just yesterday, we at ABC4 wanted to talk about the resources that are available to those who may be experiencing abuse in their homes or with their partners. So joining us today, Ashley Berry, the Director of Residential Services for Peace House, which is a shelter in Park City for survivors of domestic violence and abuse. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, we need to talk about this, and especially again on the heels of this incident we've been covering yesterday. Tell us, what are some common misconceptions about domestic violence, Ashley?
I think some of the most common misconceptions about domestic violence are that it looks a certain way. Everybody has an image of their mind of maybe a physical violence or something that they have seen on movies or TVs. And I think what's important to know is that it could look really a multitude of different ways, whether there's evidence of it, whether it's somebody who is charming or likable in public situations, and then you're hearing stories or maybe some evidence that in behind the scenes they're not. I think there's all sorts of different kinds of domestic violence, whether it be emotional, physical, verbal, religious, financial, all sorts of different things that I think people don't always think of. Usually the picture of physical violence is the first thing that people imagine. I think one of the other things that is really a big misconception is that it can only happen to a certain people. It's not in my neighborhood, or it's not my family, or it's not my friends, or I would know if somebody is experiencing that, when in reality, you might never know. There might be a lot of hiding going on, a lot of cover up or things like that happening. So it really can happen to anyone, anywhere.
And you working in the field you work in, we have to all just trust, because you see this day in and day out. So you've seen the multiple, the variety of victims that come in and need help, and their story is so different. So listening to you and taking that for granted, hearing you out, you're the expert in this. Tell us, what are the best practices if you're seeing someone who you love who is experiencing some of this, that you may be detecting there may be some abuse happening? What do you do?
Our first concern is always safety. It could be dangerous to confront somebody when they're with their partner that you think may be abusive. They may lie in front of them, they might be covering up some things, because it might be dangerous for them to openly say, yes, my partner or the person next to me is abusive to me. So the first thing you always want to think about is safety. Make sure that you're in a safe, confidential space, that when you're asking questions, and ask those questions. Do you feel safe in your home? How can I support you? We at Peace House are really focus on victim or client-centered services. So go with what the person is telling you that they need. If what they tell you is that they can't leave, or they don't want to leave right now, or there's maybe some factors or services that you don't understand that they're receiving, or that they aren't aware of, or that you aren't aware of, just follow with what their lead. Ask them what they need. I think a lot of times people, again, have this misconception of the best way to do this is to flee or to leave a situation, and sometimes that's not. The most dangerous time for a person historically is typically when they're trying to leave their abuser. So we want to make sure that they are safe, and that they are doing what they feel is the best and the safest for them, for their family, for their situation.
And what is it? What stands in the way of people getting help typically?
There's all sorts of factors, financial, whether it's, do I have a place to live? Do I have a vehicle that I can drive in? Is there concerns about a job or being able to continue employment? Kids, pets, family members, a lot of times there's pride. What will this look like if my neighbors see this, or if my people at work see this? How will this affect me? People also get there's a lot of shame that happens around domestic violence. It's nobody's fault when somebody else abuses them or hurts them or treats them in a way that they don't deserve, but there's a lot of stigma around that of, I allowed this to happen to me, or, I got myself in this situation, when in reality that's not the case, and that everyone deserves help, and everyone deserves to be treated fairly and kindly in the best way that we possibly can.
Ashley, there is so much we need to get to, and we're already out of time. Where can people go for resources? I know that you are in Park City specifically, but we have shelters across the valley, right? Where do you encourage people to turn?
So we do have shelters across the state. One of the best places is the Utah Domestic Violence Coalition has a link line. It's a phone number you can call, and they can direct you to local resources closest to you. There's also a national domestic violence hotline. Every single shelter throughout the state also has a 24-hour helpline that you can call and seek services from them.
Thank you so much again. And your website, peacehouse.org, for those, especially in the Park City area.
Park City, Summit and Wasatch County is who we serve.
Thank you sincerely, Ashley Berry. We appreciate your time here today and your services that you offer to so many people in need. Thank you.